friends, it's Jenny, and I had an exciting mail day today. One of the things that I got was my GGC Gina's Gem Creations treasure bag. So I got my GGC treasure bag. The theme is flowers and shells, and I chose to get the sophisticated collection. And so I'm excited. I'm going to be doing a little bit of an unboxing and organizing and just kind of getting my hands on these beads and starting to figure out what kinds of things I want to make this month. One of the things I know I'm going to make is I'm going to make a beaded chain set because it's September. And Becky usually does a beaded chain challenge, and I've decided to join her this month. Be on the lookout for an introductory video from Becky in the next couple of days with some beaded chain basics, some different ways that you can do beaded chain. And so that's something to look forward to. But in the meantime, I want to get into this and take a look at what we've got. So one of the first things I noticed is normally at the top of the packing list, it says that all metals are lead, cadmium, and nickel free. And I reached out to Gina because I noticed that that was missing this time. And she said that it was inadvertently left off. They did change a little bit in the way that these things are packaged and grouped to help save cost on packaging, but also, you know, we don't need as many tiny little bags as we all usually get. So she made a change to the packing list to accommodate that. So we're going to have a strand pack, a loose beads pack, a pendant pack, and a findings pack. So just with the format of this change, she said that was supposed to be there, inadvertently left off. So she's reassured me that it is, you know, going to be there. Hopefully on future packing lists, that statement is back in place so that I can, you know, use the items in it with confidence instead of, you know, using kind of generalities. So we'll get into this, but let me get my packing list set off to the side so I can give you some good descriptions. Now, Gina did a very thorough unboxing of this collection as well as the Demure collection over on her Facebook channel, and not Facebook, her YouTube channel. Hello. And I will provide a link to that as well as a link to where you can purchase these. They are a limited edition quantity, so by the time you see this video, they may be out of one or both of the colorways. But I'm going to give you the information so that you can find that out. So let's get this a little bit open. I'm going to start with the strand pack because that's where she starts. Oh, I forgot to say. Okay, so one of the reasons Becky and I do not just an unboxing, but an organization. I'm trying to decide if I want to use my big 18 grid organizer or my usual 15 grid organizer. And I think with the size of some of these things, I might need to do the 18 grid. So it might look a little bit empty in a couple of wells, but not a big deal. But anyway, one of the reasons why we do organization videos when we get new boxes is because both Becky and I are very visual people. And so if I kept everything in their packs and in their organza bag, even though it is, you know, you can see through the organza bag, you don't see everything laid out. And so it's more difficult for me to just be able to look in, stare at my beads for a while, because I definitely do that when I'm looking for inspiration. I just open my box and I stare at my beads. Let me get this open so there's less glare from the lights. But I like to be able to look in and see what I've got and be able to start imagining how things will go together, even before I start trying it on my strand. So that's one of the reasons why Becky started doing this and why I also love to do it. And so that's definitely a thing on our channel because it's something both Becky and I actually love to do. I'm not doing this to be like Becky. I'm doing this because I am Becky's sister. We are definitely sisters, and this is something we both enjoy. So let's get into this. But I am going to have links to Gina's stuff so that you can see it. So the strand pack does have the crystals separated a little bit just to help protect them as well as the other beads in the pack. So there's a little bit of extra packaging in there for the crystals. these aren't really big beads, which is one of the reasons why I was considering, but like this strand of crystals is so chonky. It would take 2 wells in my smaller box, but probably only 1 well in this box. So that's kind of what I'm looking at and trying to figure out which box I'm using. I think I'm going to put it in the 18 grid. And if after I use some more things in it, I might transfer it into the smaller box later. But one of the things I'm definitely going to be doing is a beaded chain set with this, which means I'm going to be using some of these beads, not today, but this week. You will see something from me this week with beaded chain from this collection. So let's start the first one in the strand pack. Let me move some of these things off to the side. I'm going to pull them in as we go. But the first thing in the strand pack is these beautiful, it's a 15-inch strand of 6mm round gray glass pearl beads, and these are a good quality glass pearl. I'm not seeing any flaking in the finish, and so they're this beautiful gray color, but almost like a blue gray color, like that steel gray that I love. So let me get I have my snips and my cutters for cutting wire strands, and my little snips for cutting the thread strands, and this one's on thread. So it's a long strand, 15 inches. And I'm just gonna go ahead and start putting them up here in the top part of my organizer. This is where I'm gonna put some of the larger beads, and then probably some of the medium accent size beads. And then I usually either do the metal and focal type items on the bottom or along the side when I use this size container. We'll see which direction I go this time. It probably depends on what feels good, because I like to group things together in a way that inspires me. So definitely getting these little pearls into their well. And then these, I haven't seen anything quite like this before. So like the next thing on our list is a 15-inch strand. It's 9 by 6mm oval slate gray. They are dyed freshwater shell beads. But they have kind of this grayish tone to them. And they've got, some of them have some little bit of, there's some variation in the shape. This is has a little bit of a divot. This has a little bit of a flat side to it, so there's some variation. But you can see the luminescence of the pearl, or the shell, I mean. You can see the luminescence. There we go. Angle that so you can see that better. So there's a little bit of that in all of these. It's really pretty. Really, really pretty. But that is a 15-inch strand. And I'm just getting them put in here. So I have a tendency to go towards cooler neutrals, which is the reason I chose the sophisticated colorway. The Demure colorway has more in the way of creamy tones, peachy tones. It's very pretty. It's really very pretty. In fact, when I saw the picture of it, I was like, okay, I'm definitely getting sophisticated. And then I saw Gina's reveal and she showed off those other ones. I'm like, maybe I should have got both. But I'd already placed my order. So I'm like, I'm just going to get the one. I'm going to be a good girl, limit myself this time. We'll see. And then we have a 13-inch strand of 7 by 4.5 by 3.5mm oval black golden framed electroplated glass beads. These are very often in Gina's collections. She does like them a lot, and they're pretty. I haven't used very much of them, partly because I don't know that I loved the colors that they were paired with the gold. But this with the black is actually really, really nice. And I think I'm going to use it. I think I'm going to use it this time. I don't always use these ones. but I think these are going to go really well with the theme as well as the colorway of the rest of the collection. I'm going to do these because these are a little bit smaller beads. I'm going to do them in a different row because I know I've got some larger crystals and stuff coming up. And see, this is where I was talking about, like, I got the smaller box. This would fit just fine by itself. I might even put a roommate with it. But some of these other ones are going to be, they're going to be filling up these larger wells that I get in this size box. I dropped one of my beads. I don't see it immediately, or I would totally get it off the floor. But I'm going to have to look for it after. I have a suspicion where it went. But I'm not going to dig for it while I'm showing you my fun, pretty beads. So I might put something in there just so they don't look so lonely. They look a little lonely. They don't need to look lonely. Okay, then we've got a 16-inch strand of 4mm round light gray opaque electroplate glass beads. So that's these guys. And they're 4mm, and they're just going to be easier to do in this box if I keep them on their strand. So I'm going to keep these on their strand. And just show you the faceting on them. I think that's the right beads. Yes. Yeah, looks like it. I'm just going to set them in one of the wells. And then we have these guys. Again, I'm going to keep this on its strand. They're just going to be a little bit easier to deal with. This is a 11.5-inch strand of 4x4x4 triangle nugget opaque glass beads. So they're the kind of chunkier triangle beads that can add some really fun dimension to your design, and also some sparkle because of the faceting. I'm gonna actually put them in with the those window beads. See, they look a lot less alone, but you can still see the not window beads, golden frame beads. You can still see them with the guys. Okay. And then we've got, oh, this one. Okay. So this is an 18-inch strand. This is a pretty big strand. This is an 18-inch strand of 7x3.5mm column. It's a black mix of electroplated glass beads. So you've got some crystal clear ones, you've got some opaque gray, you have some transparent gray, some opaque black. Well, that might be more of a transparent black. It looks like it's actually like black on one side. You know how they'll do that where they'll have like, this is the clear side, but then you rotate it around and there's the black. So it's a nice mix of those. And a long strand. That's 18 inches of this. Come on. I'm just pulling this out rather than snipping it. I don't know why. I have my snips right here. Just for in my head, it's easier. And then they want to go everywhere. Then they just want to go everywhere. But I'm just putting them in here. Where did it go? Oh, I went 2 over instead of 1. I love grays. So I'm really looking forward to doing some stuff with this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, especially once I start showing you the crystal packs, because hello beauties, they're so pretty. So pretty. There's the last of that. So starting to take shape. You can see the kind of colorways that we're doing in here. All right, and then the last non-crystal strand is, oh, actually, no, we're going to switch to the crystal because that's the last one listed on the strand pack. I am trying to do in order just so I don't miss anything. So that's these guys first. Okay, so this is a 12.5-inch strand. Yep, that looks right. 12.5-inch strand of 4x3 star cut black electroplated glass beads. So this is, again, that thing where they put the black on one side and then clear on the other, but these are round and they're star cut, so also called English cut. And I'm going to keep these because they're little. They're going to stay on their strand as well. In fact, I'm going to put them in here with these column beads. Let's twirl that up a little bit better. So we've got these different crystal shapes, but I can easily see, you know, what's in there, what's going on in there. I might move some of these things around if I have more space, but I do like to rumate a little bit until I find that out. Then we have, this is, yeah, okay, so this is why I chose the bigger box, because this is an 22-inch strand. Let me move these other things out of the way so that we have zero problems focusing. But it is a 22-inch strand of this faceted flat rondelle in a light gray, and they're electroplated glass beads, and they are so pretty. They are gorgeous, and they're separated with just these little clear seed beads, but I love how beautiful these are. And the matching one, or the related one in the Demure collection, is also absolutely gorgeous and full of just as much sparkle. It just gives more warm tones than this cooler gray set that I have. So here it is without my hand behind it. Is that not just gorgeous? Yeah, I love that. I am not leaving this on its strand because A, it's too chunky, and B, it is on that dratted, really fine wire that it comes on. It's not Gina's fault at all. That's just the way it comes. But I am going to pull these off onto my mat carefully with this wire. It's maybe not as fine as the wire I was thinking of, but it's still not very convenient. And I would rather get all these beauties off onto my mat and the crystals transferred into my box. And the I don't know if you can see, but the seed beads also have a little bit of a gray electroplate to them as well, which is really pretty. They'll end up either in the same section or another section as like, hey, I can use these, because there's a lot of them. If this is 22 inches, there is a ton of these crystals, which I'm going to use very heavily, probably this week. I am probably going to design around these crystals for my beaded chain set using this collection. Now that I'm seeing it in person, yeah, these are absolutely gorgeous. There's a very long piece of pokey wire. Moving the pokey wire, rolling the crystals away from the seed beads. There's a method to my madness. All right. Come on. And then just scooping it all into my box. But they are beautiful. Oh, I love these so much. Excuse the squealy brakes. Those of you who are anywhere near a school bus probably recognizes that sound. It must be time for kids to be done with school. I am recording during the day because I have an unboxing, and I usually record at night. So some noises you don't usually hear, but oh gosh, they're so beautiful. So I'm just gonna scoop these up and drop them into my box right over here. See, so pretty. And then I am using my actual bead scoop. I had one little seed bead that dropped into another place. Since I do like components and stuff usually at the front, I'm dropping the seed beads in one of these ones where the latch is. They are definitely going to need to be in with some other things, but if I have them all in one place where I can easily see them, I'm not having to see past that pile of gorgeous crystal, then I might look at them as components to be used. So yeah, I was saving this place. This spot is what I was saving for these crystals. They're so pretty. So, so pretty. Okay, and then we've got a 20-inch strand, so another long strand, also on that wire that's often used for crystal. It's a common thing. These ones are 6mm English cut rounds, gray electroplated glass beads. So this is the same cut as the other one. In one description it was called star, and the other one it's called English cut. They are fairly interchangeable. I've also seen it called rough cut, and they are also very beautiful. These guys are going right next, and I don't have seed beads to separate out on this one. So these ones are going right next to our other chonky rondelle dudes. And yeah, I might be able to even aim them directly in. Yes. Oh no, oh no. They're coming off the other end. Ah, because that's where the split is. Okay. I did not cut near the split. I thought I did. I did not. Okay. There's the wire gone, and here are the rest of my star cuts. I'm going to go ahead and just use the bead scoop for this as well. I want to show you because, oh, look at all this sparkle. We're totally putting this in there with our sparkly friends. Again, definitely excited about these cool gray tones and what I can do with them. Like, this might look boring, but it excites me. All right, and then I've got one more strand. This is an 8-inch strand of 6mm Heishis. They're gray, they're dyed gray shell beads. And I am going to leave these on their strand as well, because I feel like they're a lot easier to just pull off the strand when you're working than to dig them out of a box. And so I'm going to keep these on their strand. I think that they'll just fit right here. And they do. Kind of coil them up a little bit. There we go. So we're doing pretty good filling up this box. We're doing pretty good. Okay, so then we have our loose beads pack. All right, we're moving on to the second of 4 sections on our packing list, and it's the loose bead. And the first thing that's listed is this packet of, it looks like these are Ado silver lined gray Toho seed beads, and they are beautiful. Look at those. Let me pour a few out so that you're just getting some without the overhead light shining on the packaging. They're really pretty. I love lined beads. I love how they catch the light. See that? I love how they catch the light, the ones that are on their sides. And of course the side is what you see. So those are going to be really fun to use in some designs. I'm going to go ahead and, nope, those are going onto the mat because it's so much easier to scoop. So much easier to scoop. Okay. And because I already have these other size seed beads here, this is just going to be like my little seed bead pack. So I've got the silver lined ones, and then I've got these other kind of more muted, clear with a touch of gray underneath. So I can kind of see both of them. But yeah, that's where I'm putting my seed beads. And then we've got a 30 bead, that's these guys. Okay, so these are 8mm, and they're golden drizzle black baked glass beads. And they've got this golden, yes, make sure that can focus and you can see that. And that's on all the beads. So you'll see it more along the side. So any of these that are facing up, you don't really see, but there is a varying amount of drizzle on each bead. So they're not all exactly the same. Those are really cool and are going to be fun to play with. Since they are a larger bead, I'm going to go ahead and put them up here next to my crystals. Up here. And then we've got a 6-piece pack of 11 by 5 by 11 and a half. So 11 and a half by 11 and a half by 5 millimeter black synthetic carved coral flower beads. So Gina did mention when she did these that when she saw the synthetic carved coral, she thought that they might be like resin or like when they crush a material and they form it like a reconstituted. But she said these are probably acrylic, which she normally wouldn't include, but they are really pretty. And I do have to agree with her that these are pretty, and I am not going to mind making with them because they are acrylic. They're also very light. So I think they're going to be fantastic on earrings. And also they're pretty. They're pretty. So I'm going to put them, they're more decorative with I'm going to put them towards the front of my box. Just because, yeah, I have room for that. So I am starting to see I'm going to have some empty space in this box. But I think it will have to wait until after my first time I make from it before I can really look at possibly moving this down into a smaller box, just because some of these strands, especially like 22 inches, or no, this was, yeah, 22 inches, 20 inches. These are very generous strands. So yeah, I'm definitely going to need to make some changes. And then we've got, this one is the triple grade A crystal pack. So this has 6 of each shape. And I might divide these up because they're different colors. Like I might put these black ones, these black faceted bicone beads. I might put them in with the roses. In fact, I will do that right now. So we've got our roses and our bicones. And then we've got these clear cubes. Well, I guess we should do it in order. So they call this slate gray, but this is more, it's got some more like warm tones to it. So like I would say more taupey. But this is slate gray cubes. And then we've got clear faceted cubes. Whoops, wrong thing. 6 of those as well. So there's 6 of each of these. I might move some things around because I kind of want to put the clear cubes in with these seed beads, and then we can still have this packet of seed beads hanging out with them. Okay. And then these ones are gray faceted column beads, slightly tapered toward the points, but they're column beads. Maybe even faceted rice if you wanted to talk about the shape a little bit more, but they're really pretty and have some cool faceting. I'm going to put them in with like the taupey crystals. So I kind of broke up my crystals by color. That's something that is feeling good to me at the moment. I might change my mind, but I also might not. So I'm going to move these seed beads over. So I've got these guys here and these guys here. I kind of want all of my metal in one section though, so this is where I'm moving things around. And I might separate out some of these things. Like I've got these strands that don't necessarily need to be with their friends. That might be a little bit more along the lines of, this is the adjustment after where I'm like, okay, what else do I want to do? There we go. Okay, so I might still, group some of these together, but I have the pendant pack and the findings pack still to do. So let's do that. So this is the pendant pack. And like I said, this was supposed to have the note on the packing list saying everything was lead, cadmium, and nickel free. It just got left off this time, but I'm going to show you what we've got. There's quite a bit here. There is quite a bit. I don't know if you can see all of that. Yes. Yeah. So let's get into this. So we have a cubic zirconia flower connector pendant. That's this guy. And there's so many different ways you could use this. You can wrap additional beads around it. You can use it as a multi-point connector. Like you can use, you know, hang a pendant from here and then connect these two to strands of beads, or these two to strands of beads, depending on how you want your necklace to fall. There's so many different ways you can use this. And then we've got a golden tone rose pendant. This is 20 by 40 millimeter. The other one was 30 by 30 by 4.5 millimeter, and it has the cubic zirconia in the middle of it. But it's just this gold rose, and it just has the one, you know, loop here, so you could dangle it from something. I'm not quite sure how I would choose to use this, but it is very pretty. So that's definitely in the flower section. And that's maybe what I'm gonna do, like flower and shells, and then just kind of in mixed or in general. Maybe that's how I'm gonna divide up my focals and my metals. And then we've got a golden tone alloy shell pendant. That's gonna be this one. That's the front, and the back is just, you know, like this. So it definitely has a front side. So I'm going to put that in its section. And then we've got a gold stripe natural seashell pendant. So it's a natural shell that has this gold paint on it, and then just this little, I don't even know, that might even be, it's hard to tell if that's pendant. It just says it's electroplated. So that must be electroplated gold, is what that is. And it's really pretty. That is really pretty. Okay, and then we've got 3 golden tone alloy shell with faux pearls. That's these guys. And they obviously have a front. The back is just, you know, a shell shape. Which I guess I didn't show you the inside of the natural shell, but you can tell that that's a natural shell because of the way that is in the back. That's not just some resin thing. That's for real. So we've got our shells. And then we have, let's see, 2 long shell pendants. That's these guys. That's the front. That's the back. They could make great dangly earrings. And then 1 trumpet shell with a faux pearl. So a different shaped shell that has the faux pearl in it. And it has a hole drilled here in the tip of that shell. There it is. You see that hole? So that is how it would hang. As you could put it, you could string it directly, honestly, because that's far enough up. You could string it directly, or you could attach it with a jump ring or a wire wrap. It's not very wide that it goes through up there, so that's really pretty. And then we've got 2 rhinestone heart pendants. She said that it's outside of the theme, but they were too pretty for her not to include, so she included them. And they would make some really sweet earrings. So they're going to go in my kind of general section. So I've got my flowers and my shells. And then this one is also more of a general shape. This one is a teardrop, and it's black dyed jade and brass gemstone pendant. And I'm not sure if that's actual jade or if that's one of the many things that is marketed as jade, like Malaysian jade and things like that aren't actually jade. So I'm not 100% sure on that, but that is the black faceted pendant, teardrop pendant. I'll put that in. So far, this is what we're looking like. Yes. Yep. Okay. And then our last pack. This is the Findings pack, and it's got 6 sets of basically half-inch golden alloy toggle clasps. It's fairly basic, but I'm gonna keep them in their pack just because I think they're gonna be easier to use that way. Put them in with the hearts and the focal, but I'm gonna put them underneath them because let's put the pretty thing on top. Let's put the pretty things on top and inspire us. So I've got these. And just know that that's where my toggle clasps are. And then in this has several things in it. So this is a mixed findings pack, and they may go back in here and go into the flower section. because some of this is flower and I want them with the flower things. But we've got, let's see, let's start with these. These are strand reducer components. So it's a 3-to-1 or 1-to-3, depending on how you want to look at it, with cubic zirconia and 18 karat gold plated brass. And then we've got 6 of these guys. These are 14 karat gold plated brass curved bead tubes. And Gina just posted a tutorial using these to make a bracelet. So that's a really cool use for those. And then we have 15 of these petal bead caps. And I've got some of them upright and some of them facing down, but they have like a little heart shape to the petal that I think is really sweet and cute. So I think those are really pretty. But I'm gonna put the bead caps at least back in the little baggie. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Bead caps are going back in the baggie, and they're gonna go in here underneath my flower pendant and the rose. And then I've got these 2 beads. They're just gonna go in here with these guys, and then these connectors as well. So, oh my gosh, I have it all in here. Let me see if yes, I can get that all in frame. So this is all 18 wells in my organizer that has all of the glass beads and crystal and the shell and all of the metal and focal stuff. And I love how it kind of has a play on both cool and warm tones because it has the gold findings, even though it's the cooler toned other beads. I think this is going to be really fun to play with. And I'm looking forward to what I might make this week. What do you love most about this box? What would you love to see incorporated either in my upcoming design or something else? Because this is the Treasure Bags is not a monthly subscription. It is a curated box, specially curated box that Gina releases every 2 months. And this is, and she usually does 2 different colorways. So you can choose which one you'd prefer, or you can get both. I got both last time. This time I only got one, maybe some regrets, but you know, bead budget. And, but I'm really happy with this purchase and what's in it. And I'm excited about what I might be able to make with it. So I will be making from this several times over the next 2 months because it's going to be that long before we get a new one. So we'll do the beaded chain set this week. I might do another bracelet trio with this batch. I'm wearing a couple of bracelets from the bracelet trios that I did with the last collection. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do with it, but I love it. I'm excited about it, and I think it's really pretty. And just to give you a little bit closer look of everything before we go, again, there's going to be links to her shop. There's going to be links to her unboxing on YouTube, and you'll want to follow her YouTube channel because she will be doing several tutorials using these beads and maybe a few things from her store or your stash that you might need to incorporate into it. So yeah, I think this is a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked this and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you loved, what you're looking forward to seeing me make with. And as always, happy beading, and don't forget to play. Bye.